Resume with that. Great. So welcome everyone. It's my pleasure to host this particular Trails Talk this month. And the purpose of this Trails Talk is to assist all of us who are intending to attend the World Trails Conference in September to answer some questions, to get a bit of a sense of what this whole experience is all about, and to share with you some of the insights from other conferenciers, from people who previously joined the conferences with us, and as well to have a welcome from Greece. And yeah, so it's about, what do we need to know for sessions? How do we get more involved with the conference? What options are there for travel or accommodation in Skiathos or getting to Greece? And yeah, so we're going to start off, I think, Paraskevi, if you would like to be our official welcome from Greece in the mayor's shoes. You are his right-hand person, so it's over to you to say a few words to kick us off.
So, well, on behalf of Greece and Skiathos, I guess, big shoes to fill, we're very excited for the conference this year. We really think it's going to be great. It's the perfect place for it, for sure. It's good that we have started already with the logistics and the basic things are underway, so it's going to be great. We just need some technical, like last minute things, but it's really, I think everyone will enjoy it, and it might be that we can do it again next year. We're already planning ahead a lot. So on behalf of Skiathos, we really think it's going to be great this year. It's going to be very successful. It's going to be, maybe we'll set a kind of record for us into how a conference can really benefit the local economy, the countries, the whole country thing, the country development and everything, and how you can actually apply globalization while thinking locally. And yeah, we're very excited.
Great. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Paraskevi. And maybe to get a little bit of a context of the World Trails Conference, this is an event that's been going, this would be the sort of 12th year that, from a calendar year perspective, but only the 8th conference that we're hosting. And the World Trails Conference was established initially in South Korea in 2010, and from there has grown over the years. From that very first conference, we had 5 conferences hosted in Korea in the early start of this event. And from there, it moved to Tottori in Japan. And from Japan in 2018, the conference went across to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. And as Paraskevi has indicated, 2022 is the year we are arriving in Greece, which is really exciting. So I'd like to invite Julian Gray, who's the vice chair actually of the World Trails Network, to, and he's also, of course, I think the CEO, Julian, or am I confused, of the Southwest Coast Path in the UK, to say a few words around why this conference is of value to trail organizations. Over to you, Julian.
Thank you very much, Galio. Yeah, so I'm Julian Gray, Vice Chair of the World Trails Network, but I'm also Director of the Southwest Coast Path Association, which is the charity which looks after England's longest national trail. And I'm also Chair of National Trails UK, a new charity representing all the trails, all the national trails in the UK. I first came across the World Trails Network conference in Santiago in 2018 and attended and presented there, not really knowing much about the World Trails Network at that time. And it was a fantastic opportunity, firstly, to meet other trails and other trail managers and to discuss kind of the kind of common themes and the common issues and the common problems that we as trail managers and trail organizations have, and also see the new innovations and the new thoughts that were coming out across and around the world. And I think one of the the real benefits of the conference and the network as a whole is that you have many different people coming from many different perspectives, from many different backgrounds, and one person's problem is another person's opportunity. It's just a really fantastic way of being able to just engage with people and share some of the problems which, you know, it's difficult to find maybe peers within your own networks locally who can share, you can share those kind of issues with. So I went along to Santiago, had an absolutely fantastic time, and from there got involved at the conference in one of the task teams, in the sustainability task team, and Nat's on the call, who's the chair or the co-chair of that task team. And again, it was another way of taking what the conversations that are happening in the conference and then moving them forward, thinking, right, we've got another conference. Well, at the time it was in 2 years' time. It's with the pandemic, it's been pushed back, unfortunately, for a couple of years. But we're now here. We've now got Santiago in sight. We've now got Skiathos in sight, and really looking forward to continuing those conversations that were started in Santiago and taking us forward. And as a trail organization and you know, a trail management organization, we've really benefited from the engagement with the wider World Trails Network, which started from that conference at Santiago. It's helped us drive some of our strategic thinking. It's helped us underpin some of the research that we've taken forward over the past 2-3 years. And it's allowed us to share some of our thoughts and ideas before testing them out with, you know, peers around the world to get an idea of how we might be able to be more effective. So, you know, being a true network in what it is. So to me, the conference is the kind of like the core event of the World Trails Network and the core network event. And it's, yeah, just really looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Julian. That sounds great. And so on that note, we've got Catherine joining us. Catherine is the co-chair of the conference organizing committee and is also responsible for putting the word out around fundraising and sponsorship for the event. And I know she's got some tight time this morning, so we're going to let her go next with some ideas and opportunities, and yeah, how we can get involved in supporting the conference further as either an organization or a business or a brand. So Catherine, over to you.
Right, thanks, Galileo. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sorry that I'm going to have to hop a little earlier than anticipated. I've just got a meeting I need to get to. In any event, so I'm sure all of you have had an opportunity to take a look at the website. There's quite a detailed page around sponsorship, and we actually created a new category for members. So there's a non-member category, and there's 3 levels, $8,000, $4,000, and $2,000 to come in and to sponsor. So, you know, if you have any ideas around who in your world may like to get involved from that point of view, all the details are listed on the website, so I won't go through that with you, but you can certainly go on. And then we've also created a member sponsorship opportunity. So I believe that there are 3 categories. Member can come in at $1,000, $500, or I believe it's $250, correct, Galileo? Oh,
if that's the information you've got, Catherine, that must be correct.
Okay. In any event, so, you know, that's a great opportunity. And so it's also an opportunity for if there's an organization who's interested in attending the event and is not a member yet, you know, maybe that would help split the deal in terms of taking out a membership sponsorship. So, you know, there's lots of ways to further promote our event. And of course, lots of people want to know where the sponsorship dollars are going. They will offset costs in terms of people who are perhaps in a position where they're on a fixed income, and the youth program. Those are the 2 primaries. So the dollars are going to be well spent. So if you're interested, or if you know of anybody's interested in any kind of sponsorship opportunity, please, reach out to me. Happy to have a conversation, happy to help you out with that. We also have a magazine where you can take out advertisement. And again, all that information is available on the website, another way to further promote who you are, what you're up to. And so, these are great vehicles to, enhance your part of the world and your trail or your business. So please have a look at the website and take these offerings very seriously. And again, I'm available, and I know Galio is too, but reach out to me. Galio is pretty busy with lots of other stuff. Anyway, does anybody have any questions? No? All good? Yes, Julian.
Just one quick one. Have you thought of doing just online sponsorship opportunities?
So tell me more about what you're asking.
Well, just in terms of being able to use social tiles and at a lower price, because I've seen that being used recently, and it can be effective. Social tiles. Yeah, for things like Instagram and Facebook and things like that.
Well, I mean, we'll do our very best. I mean, in terms of just spreading the word from, all the different social media platforms. Is that what you're asking?
No, it's offering businesses opportunities to have their, especially if they're kind of trail kind of businesses selling, say trail services or trail products, that they could do an online sponsorship as opposed to a broader sponsorship, online only.
Oh,
I'll speak to you offline about it. So it's okay.
Why don't we have a one-on-one conversation about that? Because I that's not really come up, and I need to ask you some more questions, but maybe this isn't the right time. So why don't you and I connect in another couple of days or so? I'll reach out to you once I'm back in my office.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thanks. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Well, that's great. I'll look forward to hearing from you folks. It's a great opportunity. And, we're so delighted to be, in Greece this year and especially on Skiathos, and we want to knock this one out of the park. So, take advantage of these opportunities. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Catherine. And maybe further to the sponsorship side of things, one of the things that the World Trails Conference has teamed up with or partnered with for this year is a campaign from the United Kingdom called Kinetica. They're I think, I'm not entirely sure what kind of structure they are, but what they're offering is an opportunity for us to, as trail organizations, create our own unique custom designed trail flag. And this is an opportunity where these flags will be carried on the various trail journeys that we have on offer this year on various different islands and also on the mainland. And the idea is that we're looking for a minimum of 20 trail organizations around the world to, create one of these custom flags. They then get printed on a very special silk material and handcrafted. So they're hand painted by artisans based on the design that you as a trail organization create yourself. So you might go home to your community of volunteers or your board, even if you have a board for your trail organization, and you can create a custom design that then will fly as a flag at the opening ceremony of the conference. So we're really hoping to get 20 trails from Africa, from Australia, from South America, from Central America, from Asia, from Middle East, from Europe, of course, and North America. So if that's something, it's another form or way of kind of sponsoring the event by being proactively involved with it. And the beauty of these flags is, as I said, they'll be carried on the trail journeys across Greece. And then on the arrival day, they will arrive in Greece, in Skiathos on the same day, and we'll put them up outside the venue. And after the conference, of course, you get to take these trail flags home. And there's something very special. You can see more information on the website. You can fly them at your own headquarters. And of course, you can take them to the next conference or to other events where you might want to showcase your trail in a very creative and expressive way. So we're very excited about this opportunity, and it forms part of a wider campaign that the partners that we've teamed up with at Kinetica are working on. So that's something else to think about. So as I mentioned a little bit there about trail journeys, I'm going to invite Maya, who's also one of our board members and who had who I had the great privilege of walking with on the Camino de Santiago in Spain, with numerous others on this call as well, actually. And Maya's going to tell us a few words about the trail journeys and what her experience was. And yeah, so over to you, Maya.
Hello, Galerio. Hi, everyone. Very pleased to be here. So yes, I would like to tell you a little more about the trail journey that we undertook in Compostelle just before reaching Santiago de Compostelle for the World Trails Conference in 2012. So basically, we had an 8 or 9 day trail journey, a hike on the Camino. And we met a group of different people who didn't actually know each other. Most of us didn't know each other in advance. And we met in a little village somewhere in Spain, and we started walking together. I would like to show you a few pictures just to give you an idea of how it was and how fun it was. So I'm sharing my screen. Do you see it?
That's great. Maya, it's working.
Perfect. So we've met, that's the first day. And as I said, a lot of us didn't know each other. And this was our first meeting chaired by Nat, who is here with us. We were nine from 7 different countries. So we had, I'm from Lebanon. We had two fellows from Siberia. We had Galeo from South Africa. Someone from Turkey, someone from Australia. We had Andras with us also. So it was really wonderful to meet people from really different parts of the world and different continents. And we started getting to know each other throughout the walk. It was one, beautiful, but 2, it was a real opportunity to share experiences with other trail experts or trail users from around the world and talk about best practices, how things are done in different countries, how we approach trails from different angles, because as you probably know, the trails around the world develop in different ways. Some are very mature and have problematics that are very different from newer trails, younger trails. And so we started discussions in terms of how we can help each other and collaborate and learn from each other. So we really, on top of having a lot of fun and becoming friends and creating, I think, long-lasting relationships, we benefited in terms of exchange. And we had a lot of time during that week to walk and talk and discuss. And have fun, as you can see. What is really impressive, I think, is the fact that this leads to collaboration later on. So for instance, in our case, I was at the time president of the Lebanon Mountain Trail Association. We afterwards decided to create a friendship trail with Costa Rica, represented by Nat here with us. And we had a trip arranged to Costa Rica a year later, where we met again, and we created a friendship trail between Lebanon and Costa Rica. So this is one example of the type of collaborations that can happen between us after, really taking the time to talk and walk and discover. And this picture is the last day when we reached Santiago, and we were very pleased to have finished our trail journey together. This year in Greece, we will have 3 different options for the trail journey. And I would really recommend for the ones of you who have the time to take time off and to join us on this journey. It's an amazing way to connect with other trail users and trail experts, exchange and build connections together. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Maya.
No
questions,
so
questions. I'm sure we'll have some time for questions also at the end, if there's no questions right now directly for Maya. The trail journeys are a very powerful tool in my view. And one of the things we found with which Zach Klein mentioned when we were in Japan, actually, he said what he loved about the trail journeys or the expeditions that the World Trails Network has initiated is it's like having a conference on a trail while walking. Instead of being indoors in fluorescent lights and sitting in chairs, you actually discuss the things that are really vital and important to your trails or to your knowledge building. while actually walking. And we all know the power of walking or running even. We had on the Santiago journey, we had Melina and Natasha, who were both quite keen trail runners. And so there's also that opportunity. So in Skiathos, we have a 4-day experience that is on offer. And it will also have a variety of different disciplines. So we're looking also at a trail run and some mountain biking and hiking as part of the Skiathos trail journey. We also then have a journey in the Cyclades on the island of Sifnos. And the itinerary for that has just come through this morning. So I'm really excited for us to be posting that soon. And it also, I think, is a 4 to 5 day experience. Sounds like a brilliant itinerary in my view. So certainly there's something really fun to experience. And then we've got a trail on Crete, which is for much more hardcore adventurers. It's kind of a 5 out of 5 from a difficulty rating perspective. And I'm expecting that to be one that will include some of the peaks of Crete, a pretty wild island, and yeah, some fun places to get to there for the more extreme outdoors people who might be joining us. And then, of course, there's the Paths of Peace trail, which is an appropriate trail to have on our program for this year. In 2018, the World Trails Network, together with our patron, launched a Peace Trails initiative. And so this Paths of Peace trail is one that has that theme around it, looking at peace with nature in a landscape that's been transformed over the years. And it also runs at about a 4 to 5 day experience. So I'm delighted that we have a huge diversity of different trails this year. And on most of these trails, one will find members of some of the international trail task teams. We're still looking at perhaps putting a theme to each one of these trails potentially. We'll see who signs up for which trails and what their interests are. And based on that, we might be able to mix and match appropriate leaders, that the conversations on those trails might have a distinct focus. So clearly the Paths for Peace trail will focus more on, initiatives around peace and trails and connection with nature and connection with self. And we're teaming up there as well with quite an interesting group from Portugal who will co-facilitate some of the experiences on that particular route. So that's it from that perspective. The trail journeys generally take place before the conference. And they start, as I mentioned, anywhere between 4 and 6 days or a week before the actual start of the conference, giving participants enough time to arrive in Skiathos on the 25th of September to be bright-eyed and fresh to begin the conference on the morning of the 26th. So yeah, that's it on the trail journeys side of things. I see we have Jay Simpson with us, who represents the Trails Film, World Trails Film Festival program. And Jay, over to you. If you can say a couple of words, please, about the Trails Film Festival, which is the other end of the conference. It's kind of the bookend. It's the final evening. It's a celebratory evening. It's all about sharing stories and also one of the highlights of the conference. So over to you, Jay, for a few words.
Good morning, afternoon, good evening, everyone. I have been recovering from COVID for the last 2 weeks, so please bear with me if I sound gruff, but I've been very excited for Trails Film. It's something that I've been working on since the end of last year, but the task team of Trails and Media has really been building since the last Trails Film Festival in 2018 in Spain. So Trails Film, like Galio said, is celebrating trail stories, and we've had an open call for films since January. And so far we have received 28 films to choose from with 13 hours of programming. And we're still accepting films for another month or two as we prepare for the conference. And we have a beautiful website with tons of information. And to maybe start us off, Galio, do you think I should show our video? Great. So I'm going to try to screen share for this. Yes. You all should be able to see this now, yes? Thank you.
Yep.
make sure we have our sound and so as you saw, these were a lot of the trail stories featured in the 2018 festival, mixed in with some beautiful footage of Greece and some other trail destinations around the world. This festival, I'm really excited because we are going to build a lineup of films that showcase trails from around the world and these incredible stories. And after we premiere here, we'll also go on tour to other locations, hopefully in other islands and locales in Greece, but also further across the world for the next year or two. And you can go to trails.film, our website, to be able to see much more information about the festival and about getting films shown. And in general, our kind of goals for being able to share these films with everyone along trail sides and theaters and amphitheaters and everything as we go. Thank you, Julian, for sharing that link. Feel free to drop any other questions in the chat as we go. Galileo, do you feel like there's anything else I should cover?
Well, I guess what we can say that this event will be held as it should be if you're in Greece, in an open air theater on a small peninsula in the main harbor of Skiathos. So it's a beautiful venue surrounded by trees, open ocean, and a very festive environment, I have no doubt. So I look forward to us being the second iteration of the World Trails Film Festival happening in such an incredible place. And we look forward to, I guess, Jay, in sharing also stories from Greece around trails. And I guess one of the motivations for all of us here is, you know, go back to your trail organization. Find those stories that you maybe haven't thought you could tell and submit them. It's worth putting them in there. And I think the other thing Jay maybe didn't mention was the categories of films in the World Trails Film Festival approach are fairly broad. And we in particular are looking at telling those stories that other film platforms don't tell. So a lot of the behind the scenes stuff around trails, a lot more about the culture of trails, not always just the adrenaline and adventure side of trail sports, but those stories of the change makers, the trail visionaries, the people who make trails happen. Those are the kind of stories that we're interested in. And we also obviously have, or maybe not so obvious, but we have a category which I think is really exciting. And that is a category in the social media Instagram space. So I don't know what you call those, Jay, they're called Instagram stories. They also qualify as a short film format. And I'm excited about those in particular myself, and I look forward to what might come out of there. Obviously, it's an experiment for us, but nonetheless, I think it's going to be interesting and fun. So the invitation essentially is get out there, take your smartphone, make a movie. You know, today anyone can make something that kind of can come together in an exciting way, push your skills to the edge a little bit, but most of all, focus on telling a story that is captivating, exciting, inspiring, and authentic. That's what we're after with the Trails film, is authentic stories about trails. So thank you, Jay. And if there are any questions, please, as he said, drop them in the chat. And you can also visit the website there. And I encourage you to do so to get more details. Paraskevi, I see Theodoros is still in his other meeting, which is fine. I'm wondering if there's anything else you want to share from the Greek perspective or from Skiathos perspective, perhaps a little bit around accommodation or getting to Skiathos, some thoughts on that?
Well, First of all, I love that you commented on the venue for the festival, for the closing of the film festival, essentially, which is, it's exactly what you said. It's perfect. It's going to be magical. I think it's the ideal closing for the conference. As you said, under the trees, literally in the middle of the ocean, and like you'll hear, you'll feel the nature around you while you're actually watching those films. So that's really, it's the perfect location. And like in general, Skiathos is, I think, like it's the perfect island for the conference. As you know, we're very tiny. We're 45 square kilometers, and our trails are around 100 kilometers. So having everything inside, like different terrains, different altitudes, different surfaces, you're gonna see monasteries, you're gonna see springs, you're gonna end up on the beach while passing by the highest peak of the island. So you cannot get bored. Like, it's something for everyone. So regarding like reaching Skiathos, the accommodation, I think, as I've seen, is a lot of different options, a lot of different distances. As Galio said, the conference will actually be held in the peninsula with the open air theater as well. So it's at the center of the town. And as we're a very small island, everything is within walking distance for me. Even the hotel that's the furthest from the venue is around 10 kilometers away through a beautiful route again. So everything's very accessible. Regarding reaching the island as well, there are a lot of options. So obviously, like everything is on the website of the conference. So there are a lot of choices to reach it directly from a lot of different cities and airlines in Europe. Then obviously the easiest way, if you're not one of the cities that flies directly, would be to Athens, to the capital, fly to the capital, or to Thessaloniki, which is the second biggest city in Greece. And from then on, the options are limitless. You could take a plane from Athens to Skiathos. You could take buses to reach the two closest ports to Skiathos, which is Madoudi and Volos. Both are like 3 hours with a bus maximum, and then a couple of hours with a boat. There will be a direct boat at the time of the conference from Thessaloniki. So you could literally fly to Thessaloniki and get a 3-hour boat and be in Skiathos. So literally it all has to do with, obviously budget, how much time you want to spend. I would want to make this journey the longest possible. So direct flight wouldn't be my number one choice, because if you fly to Athens, for example, and you can take your time, spend three days in the mainland, traveling, discovering the beautiful mainland of Greece, obviously taking every opportunity you have to do any trail journey, any suggestions anywhere in Greece. And from then on, we're a very touristic island, so there's a lot of options on how to get here. And I will take the longest route personally, so I could see as much as I could. And that's it. If you have any questions, or Galio, if you think there's something I didn't cover, let me know.
That sounds great, Paraskevi. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. One of the links we have on the website is to another site called Rome to Rio, which is a wonderful travel site that helps you decide which mode of transport you might like to choose. And it gives you a whole lot of options, and you can create your own journey, taking the longest route that Paraskevi would encourage, where you can have a boat ride.
Galio, sorry to interrupt, mate.
Do
you mind sharing your screen and opening up the website just so we can all have a look?
Oh, well, yes, I think that was Sam. Sam, the website.
Yeah, sorry, that was Sam. Yeah.
In the link. I can do that for you. Give me one moment. But maybe, well, let me do that right now then for you, if that helps everyone. If I can find the website, that's the other trick. Give me 1 second, everybody. There we go. So there we are. I think that should be working now. So there's quite a lot on our website. In fact, I encourage everyone to look at this particular piece of the website, which tells you exactly the steps you need to take to plan getting to Skiathos and to be part of the program. This is an important piece. You can see there we're sitting about the 12th of May now. We've got this session, that's point number 2 on the chart. And coming up next is the 13th of June. So a month from today, it would be a good idea to have your presentation proposal completed and submitted online. This is our primary call for presentation. So if you plan to be part of any of the sessions or any of the panels, or want to offer a workshop, then put your mind down or not put your mind down, light your mind up and put your pen to paper and put forward a simple proposal that we can then consider and ensure that you are on the program. I'm assuming that there's a lot of people who would have questions about that particular next step. But following that, we will then confirm our speakers, hopefully by the end of June. That date there is a little bit flexible for us, depending on the number of proposals that we get in. We've already got quite a number of proposals, but we're looking at a few more that would be necessary. You will see on the, if I scroll down a little bit, you will see on the call for speakers is we have quite a list of thematic streams and conference topics that we are hoping to cover during this event. And as many of us know, trails intersect with many different spaces within human society. They intersect, and other sectors of society intersect with trails. So you've got technology, for instance, there. We've seen how over the last five years or so, how technology has really begun to play a very powerful role in trails, especially for trail users. We've also then got new trends that are emerging. We've got a whole space around climate change and trails. This is an important subject that we hope to have highlighted at the conference. Questions around cities, urban trails, and mobility. Important one as well is sports, mountain bike trails, cycling trails, running trails, and events. How do they all intersect with the broader trail offering that we have? And of course, a primary theme for the conference is sustainability. Without sustainable trails, in that sense, we're not really doing our work if we're not working towards that as a global collective. And a very special session that we have is the trails and islands. We've sent an invitation to 35 different islands already this last week, and we've had a good response from a number of them. And because the conference this year is hosted on an island, we felt that a theme looking at the intersection of trails and islands from both a tourism perspective, from a mobility perspective, that would be a great theme, that convening islands from around the world. As I was saying, we've got a broad cross-section of themes here. We've got health, and in particular, the Knowledge Task team for the World Trails Network is looking at launching the first World Trails report. And this report is going to be based on a fairly extensive survey that we are launching next week. So please, all of you on this call, if you are on our newsletter, look out for that survey. We expect that survey to assist us in getting a snapshot of what is happening for trails globally around the world. And so I think that gives us a bit of an idea of the thematic side of things in relation to the conference. And I think I'll stop sharing the screen right now and see if we have any other questions that we might want to entertain. Great. So, there we go. Andras, go for it. You can unmute.
Yeah, thanks. So I have just very practical questions, 3 questions. The first one is about how the logistics of the trail journeys is envisioned. And I mean, in particular, if the trail journey includes traveling from the journey to the conference, and where we have to travel in order to enter these journeys. So because if they are further from Skiathos, then it might be better to travel to somewhere else. But the question is also whether any of those would be cancelled or merged, then of course it will be impractical to travel somewhere where there is no trail journey eventually. So I'm just wondering how we could approach this question with the booking of the travels. That's my first question. The second is, I think you mentioned in one of the emails that there might be some platform of collaborative booking of accommodation. I would be maybe interested in that. And the third one is if there are any formal requirements for the reimbursement. So if we, as task team chairs, or I don't know who else are eligible, if we are making the booking, shall we ask for an invoice for the WTN, or how is that in practice? Thanks.
Great, thanks, Andras. I'll address your questions. Yes, regarding bookings for the trail journeys, to make sure you don't end up booking yourself to a destination and then find maybe something isn't happening, or you maybe want to change your mind, whatever it might be. We will have a deadline for the trail journeys, and I'm expecting that to be the end of July for us, that you can plan and see where the bookings are, or see what group you might be joining, and from there you can then make your plans from a travel perspective. Certainly, it's not recommended that you arrive in Skiathos thinking that the trail journey will begin there and then find you have to get to Crete if that's where your trail journey is. So, you know, the details of the trail journeys will be shared with everyone who's signed up for a trail journey, and from there you can see further. I'm also hoping for us to get further itinerary, day-by-day itineraries for the trail journeys. We have reached out to a number of the people in Greece who are helping us with this. It's been very late start for some of them, and we're only getting some of the information, as I said, around the Cyclades I just got this morning, and we're still waiting for finer details around Crete. The Skiathos journey is probably the journey that I would say is, if you're concerned about perhaps wanting to book sooner than later to get there, the Skiathos journey will definitely be going ahead no matter what. And that's a shorter journey, which is also quite pleasant and has the option, as I said, for both trail running or mountain biking involved as well. As far as collaborative bookings go, at this point, we do not have such a facility. What I would suggest is, if you are thinking of anything, we are looking at putting together some kind of a chat space for delegates, and that will either be linked to a conference-specific app or some other channel on our website that will allow you to communicate and connect with other conference attendees, where you can put some things out on a notice board, for instance, and get some feedback on suggestions or ideas. If you do mention, and as you've mentioned in your email to us, we have got your email flagged with your questions. We are working on a frequently asked questions list, to which your questions have all been put in, Andras. So we've got Chucky working on that. It's a around-the-clock thing, getting this conference going with the short amount of time we've got. So we are doing our best on trying to address all these questions. Your request around reimbursement, there's no reimbursement at this point. If you have applied for some form of travel support, then you will be communicated with directly around that. So there's no otherwise general reimbursement for any travelers or attendees. If you are under 35 years of age, I must remind you that you can apply to be part of the World Trails Young Ambassadors Program. And that is a distinct group where there is fundraising happening to support younger people to attend the conference. And so I would encourage all of us who have organizations or volunteer groups that are youth orientated to get our youth involved and to sign up for that program. I think that answers it. Andras, anything I may have missed there?
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Nat, over to you, please.
Yeah, I was just going to make a comment that while the conference itself is geared towards professionals or managers, that if you look at the film festival and the pre-conference journeys, they're really attractive to a broader audience of trail club members, enthusiasts. So the conference really is something that I would encourage people who maybe aren't professionals to participate in, if only through a pre-conference journey or booking their own, hiking trip and ending at the film festival, for example. And that's a way to, broaden participation. And I encourage everybody to invite, your club members and your friends who are interested in hiking to participate in the conference that way. They don't have to go to the sessions, but they can participate in other ways.
Thanks so much, Nat, for putting that on our radar. And indeed, you are absolutely correct in that what we're trying to focus on with this conference is a combination of both trail users and trail professionals. So we have that wonderful connection between, those that we as trail managers essentially support and provide trails for, that those people who enjoy our trails also come and share their experiences. And we had a wonderful experience on the Santiago conference journey, where we had the beautiful, and I've gone blank on her name, may I come? It was right at the tip of my tongue. Anyway, we had this wonderful woman, a banker from Puerto Rico, who joined us because she couldn't find any other trip in Spain at the time, and she heard about the conference and decided to sign up for it. And she had the most fantastic time. We had Iris, that's it. And we had the best time with her as well. And that combination of a non-expert with experts brought a freshness to both the trail journey itself, but also a broader sense of celebration around what trails are about. And the strange thing about Iris was she ended up sitting in nearly all the sessions of the conference. She has nothing to do with trails. It's the first time she ever went hiking. And, she was great, sitting right up there in the front row with our VIP guests. And that's just, that's how we roll at World Trails Network. It's really open to everyone who comes with an enthusiasm and a passion for trails. So yes, as Nat said, please invite your colleagues and friends and non-experts to join us as well. It's a great way to see Greece. And I guess the other thing one can say is trail people are really fun people. We've got a few more minutes for questions. So Maya, yes, go ahead.
Yes, I was just wondering if there's a limit on the number of people who can join the trail journeys.
At this point, there's no limit. I think, from the experience we had in Spain, probably we would try and cap it at about 16 or 20 people, but it depends on how many people sign up and how it sits. So we'll sort of work that as it goes. The capacity on these trails in particular is probably a lot more because the trails are not massive trails, but they also have, they're moving from one village to another. So accommodation would be the only limitation that we really have.
So 16 to 20 per trail journey for each of the destinations, right?
I wouldn't say that's a limit, Maya. Let's see where we get. Maybe this is information I can get more on, but I would say, it's unlikely to be. Yeah, I think they're pretty much open. We'll find a way to accommodate whoever wants to be on the trail journey.
Okay, great.
So bring a huge delegation from Lebanon, please.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because I'm convincing everybody around me. So, because Greece is not that far.
Yeah, it's very accessible.
Yeah, and another question, some of us registered when the choices were not yet online in terms of which trail journey to choose. So how do we actually choose the trail journey? Do we have to register again?
No. If you've registered and chosen it, you mean because yes, you chose trail journeys before. What you will get if you have previously registered for a journey, Chucky, who is managing our communications with registrations, she will get in touch with you to confirm which journey you would like, because obviously they're different now from what would have been available. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Kaleo. Good question. Thanks, Maya. I see we might have a question from, gosh, I don't know how to say your name, but if you unmuted, Piatip.
Oh yeah, sorry. Did I? Okay.
Oh, okay. Maybe she didn't have a question, but she was unmuted. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Any last thoughts or questions or any insights? We have a number of people on this call who have been to previous conferences. Perhaps, Andrash, there's something you might want to share, or perhaps Stephen, is there anything you are really looking forward to at the conference?
I'll just say I'm looking forward to everything, in particular, meeting people for the first time after 3 years. So that's going to be really special. And I'm deeply grateful to you, Galileo, and all the other organizers for pulling this one together. It's going to be a really exciting time. So thanks so much.
Great. And we have a question from Mapfumo in Zimbabwe. Mapfumo, please go ahead.
Hi, sorry, I kind of blacked out. I don't know, something happened to my connection, so I missed half of session. So I wanted to ask where I can get the recording for that, because right now I might end up asking questions which are which have already been answered already. But yeah, my name is Mapfuma. I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm very new to trails. I'm volunteering at a trail called the Vumba Trail in Zimbabwe, and it's a very young, and we're still developing and mapping that trail. So the Trails Conference for me would have been an opportunity to meet and learn from trail managers and experienced trailers and all that to gain more knowledge. But I think I first need to watch the recording first so that I can have my things in order so that I don't revisit things that we discussed. Thank you.
Yes, Mapfumo, that's a very good idea. So you will receive a link to the recording afterwards. If you registered for this call, it will go through to those registered. And I can also make sure that Julie sends you a link, and we'll put a link up also on the conference website.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Great. Guys, I think we're going to wrap it at that. Unless there's a last burning question from anyone, I think we can end this information session. And certainly from my side, I look forward to meeting all of you in Skiathos and well, with many other folk as well who we know are joining us. So go ahead. As I said, the most important next step is planning your presentation proposal or your proposal ideas. Get them onto that application form for us and send it through before the 13th of June. And after that, it's all just logistics, simple logistics, and the excitement of arriving in Skiathos. If you do, as I mentioned earlier, have a trail organization that would like to participate in the flag ceremony and have your own custom art design flag that you design yourselves, please remember to sign up for that too. The link is on the website. That's it from me and everyone else from the World Trails Network here who's part of this conference planning team, and as well from our representative in Greece, Paraskevi. Thank you so much for joining us, and until next time.